So, you're used to larger-than-life characters, but now you're a superhero.
Yeah.
So how does that compare, to some of the other characters that you've been?
I've played a cult leader and a witch and a gypsy, so, it's pretty in line with what I've been doing thus far. But it's definitely a step up in the badassery. I'm like, this is so fun.
More badass than Esmeralda?
She's pretty badass for her time period, so...
So what can you tease us about your character and what we'll see in the first few episodes?
Well, we meet her on The Flash, and she just moved to Central City, bit of a small town girl moving to the big city. I think she's always been on this process of trying to figure out why she's different, why she feels so different in a way that she can't explain to anybody else. And then, of course, she moves to Central City where metahumans are abounding, and she figures it out pretty quickly, and it's shocking. She's very shocked by it, so.
What's it like playing a strong female superhero on television?
Awesome. It's completely awesome, and I'm very excited about it. We need more. I was just saying, next week, we need a female-led show, okay? We've got all these male-led shows, we have the team. Next, we need a female at the forefront. It doesn't have to be me, but somebody. Let's do it. I'm ready.
But you wouldn't mind if it was you?
Oh, no. I mean, hey, secreted, putting it into the universe. Yes.
How do they explain when you're going to audition for a character like this that you're not just sort of playing a new character in a show, but you're basically coming into an entire universe? So the DC universe, and it exists in Flash, and it exists in Arrow.
Yeah.
So you're sort of joining this sort of extended superhero family. Did you know any of that stuff before?
A little bit, vaguely, generally, but I don't think I knew the extent of what was going to be expected of me. So it's been a lot of work. It's a bit of a struggle scheduling 3 shows all at one time and things like that. But it's really it's exciting and ambitious what we're doing. So I can't wait to see kind of how it all turns out and the blending of the different tones of the shows and what every show is saying. It's really interesting.
I mean, they have a plan as to how to portray Hawkgirl, and what did they give you any room to kind of bring your own style to her as well?
I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of what happens, especially with any new show and a new character. They cast the person that they think is going to bring something interesting to it, I guess, and that was me, which is awesome. And they're very collaborative, and we definitely work together, and we're trying to find her voice as much as Kendra is trying to find her voice, which is great. I think they were smart to start where she doesn't know anything about herself, because now I really get to develop the character with everyone, which is really great.
And the costume? What's that like?
It's fun. I mean, I feel awesome in it. I look pretty badass, I think, and with the helmet and everything. We had gone back and forth about whether we were actually going to use the helmet, but I'm glad that we did, because I feel like a different person in there. I can't hear anything necessarily, but it's fun to have it on.
So what does she think of the rest of the team? Because you have these heroes, you have these villains.
Yeah, right now we're all kind of trying to feel each other out. It's interesting. I think she knows a lot about kind of the Central City villains, and I think it's maybe a little hard for her to see their villains, but maybe they've got something good about them, or they're helping out at least in this situation. But it's fun when we get shuffled around into different groups to see who there's tension with and who she clicks with. At present, though, she's mostly kind of focused on Hawkman, just because he's the one that's training her, he's the one that's helping her remember.
So in the comics, Hawkgirl is known for reincarnation. Will we maybe see that on the show?
Yeah, I mean, that's the storyline we're going with, is that she was reincarnated from an Egyptian priestess. So, that's pretty fun. I think it was a great idea to use that instead of just the Thanagarian version, because she now has so many possibilities, especially with the time travel. It's like you could go back and see another me, or go forward and see another me, or it would be really cool to do that. So we'll see what happens.
Did you go back and look at any of the old comics? Because this is a character that goes all the way back to like the 1940s.
1940, yeah. I wasn't originally a comic book person. I was more just an anime, video game person. And then they sent me all these comics when I got cast, and I've been tearing through them. I mean, I read an anthology like this of Hawkgirl, so that was cool. It's really interesting because there's a million different storylines. You know, she's really gone through a lot of different versions. I love when the one Hawkgirl that I was reading, Volume 1, they would intersperse little like the cowboy version of them, or like the Wild West version, or like this version of that. And I love that. I think that's so fun.
Did you, dig into other media? Hawkgirl's in the Just League cartoon. Did you watch that?
I watched that when I was little, and I was like, oh my god, I have to watch it again. Luckily, it was on Netflix, so I totally did. I love that, and I also really love the Green Lantern love story there. Oh, sorry, Hawkman. I don't know if that's a possibility whatsoever, but I was like, that's so adorable. I love that.
And Vandal, he's gonna kind of be your pain in the neck all season.
Yeah, he's our immortal bad guy for the season.
What's it like to play off him?
It's so funny because Casper Crump is the goofiest, nicest little Danish man. And then he's playing this scary, creepy bad guy who's trying to kill me and is in love with me and weird things. It's like, it's fun. It's really, really, really fun. And so awesome to see someone be so different from their character. I mean, he's just a complete 180 from Vandal. It's just so, I love it.
Can you talk a little bit about the ensemble cast that you're in? Because I always find this fascinating is what the roles everybody, there's always somebody who becomes sort of like the front man, somebody in the cast member is always like the goofball. And tell us a little bit about the guys that you're working with on the show and how you've seen them so far.
Yeah, well, character-wise, I think Rip is kind of the guy, the impetus to bring us all together, so he's a bit of the leader. But we also discovered pretty quickly that since we all have different skill sets, whenever our particular skill sets are needed, we kind of become the leaders of that part of the mission, which is really interesting too. And I think that's a good way of doing a group show like this. Is not that there's really one central guy, so we all kind of at some point take over in our own way, which is really interesting.
How do the actors sort of fit together in real life?
You know what? We're all so different, and I think it's perfect that way. We all have very different lives, and then when we come together, it's just a great mesh of people. Even from day one, we were going to film the promo, we all went and got dinner, you meet people, and you're sizing up, do I like this person? I actually like everybody, which is crazy to say, I feel like, in TV or in theater or anything. So, no, it's really great. It's been a great experience.
What are you excited for fans to see with the show?
I mean, the whole thing's exciting. It's huge. This is a huge undertaking. Putting all these shows together, all these characters together that are so different. There's obviously a lot of action, a lot of drama, but I think what's cool is we're sort of blending the tones of Flash and Arrow with Legends. So we've got so much comedy too, and I love how quick people are on this. The comedy is so good, and you really get to see relationships. I mean, the pilot is action, but after that, I mean, you really start to see these cool relationships that you wouldn't expect at all. You're like, oh, I didn't think those two would like each other, but I guess they do. Cool.
Hawkgirl there's a lot to her past, depending on which era you get to see her in. In the show, is there any connection to Hawkworld and the Thanagarians?
Right now, it doesn't seem like there's any connection, but again, we've got different Earths, we've got different universes, I think there could be a million different Hawkgirls, so they've left the possibilities pretty wide open.
Your character, am I right in saying that she's basically the newest reincarnation? And this is pretentious to say, do you play a character that's been reincarnated? But does that inform your character in terms of maybe trying to give her a bit more of a spiritual level, or does that really not enter into it?
I think it's beginning to. Again, she doesn't really know any of that stuff, but as she remembers, I think there's a bit of gravity that comes to a person if they've lived that long. If I have all this wisdom and knowledge about the way the world is, and as that comes back to her, I think that's definitely going to change the doe-eyed, I don't know what's going on kind of thing a lot for her. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that will affect her.
And if you have a character like Vandal Savage that's been around for centuries as well, it's quite possible that he's been involved with previous versions of her also.
Yes. Yeah.
So with all the boys, it's you and Katie are the ladies of the show.
Yeah.
And do you try to keep them in line at times?
I would love to see that dynamic. We'll see. I mean, Katie kind of keeps everybody in line. Sarah is an amazingly badass chick. So I don't think anybody really questions that she's that badass, though. No one's really stepped on her yet, so we'll see.
And they won't question you on it, probably.
I think hopefully she'll earn her place.
Cool.
Now, the team is from all over the Arrowverse. When you first got the job, was there anyone in particular that you were looking forward to working with, like to get that character or actor?
I mean, I love working with the chicks. I'm all about it. Let's bring the chicks together. Everyone keeps saying they want me and Candace to be friends, which I love because she's amazing. Yeah, I think we definitely need more girl power, so.
Hawkgirl and Huntress team up, maybe?
Ooh, I'm into it. Anybody, bring them on.
Thanks, everyone. Cool, thank you.